We're here at Smiling River Campground, Deschutes National Forest here in Central Oregon, along the mighty banks of Metolius River. Let's go check out the campsites. So we're here at Smiling River Campground, 36 campsites, Metolius River National Recreation Area. Fly fishing only, no other type of fishing. Here's our signage. And let's go check out the sites. We go to the right here to start things out. So Metolius River National Recreation Area has about a dozen camps. About half of them don't open till May. This is one of those, bookable at recreation.gov. The other half do open first come, first serve in March, and then the rest is recreation.gov once we get to prime season. So this does not open till May. Here is campsite number 1. You got picnic table, fire pit, nice long driveway. It's an inner, kind of right when you start here at Smiling River Campground. Here is campsite 2. You got your picnic table, fire pit, nice long driveway. It's kind of an inner. It's not up against the river, and it's up against the main road that turns you into Smiling River Campground, so you will have a lot of road noise behind you. Bit claustrophobic. Probably put my tent straight there. I probably wouldn't do site 2, keeping it real. Let's continue along. There's 36 sites here. Pardon the disheveledness. It's end of March, so this doesn't open until May, so they haven't cleared it out, so I don't want to make the Deschutes National Forest look bad. This is not prime time for them. This is early season. And we got 3 and 4. So here's site 3. You got your signage. That's the road from the beginning of Smiling River Campground. Picnic table, fire pit. This is an inner site. Not really anything special about it, to keep it real. It's kind of generic. Here's site 4. You can see your picnic table, fire pit straight ahead, as well as your sign. Here's your campground road. Here's our driveway, and it's a pretty section of Deschutes National Forest. The main road is the other side of the tree straight ahead, so you'll have some road noise. Here's your parking. Takes you over to 3 on the other side right there. So 4 is not great, keeping it real. I will walk over, give it its just due. Picnic table, fire pit. As I said, the road's straight ahead, so a lot of road noise. Probably put your tent right here to the left of your fire pit. So oh, actually, it's even better than I thought. Over there, the other side of this log, front of the log, probably put my tent over there. And here's site 5. Well, this is my favorite so far out of the first 5, but that's not saying much because I didn't really like the first 4. You got your picnic table, fire pit. You do have the road, the main road straight ahead, so you'll have some road noise. You'll see some cars going by. Not up against the river, but at least it feels a little bit more private than the first 4. They've a little mosh pit. So you could probably put your tent straight ahead there. That's really the only spot it would work. Front of the log, fire pit, picnic table. Beautiful section of Deschutes National Forest. I will pan up so you can see these towering Ponderosa pines are legit. Legend, in fact. And I will continue along. So 5 is definitely the best so far. Let me get it with the beautiful sun on it. But so far we got 5 inners. We're here in Metolius River National Recreation Area, and we have not made contact with the river yet. It's because there's 36 sites here, so I'm sure this campground weaves around a bit. I'm assuming there's much higher quality as we get deeper in. Here's campsite 6. You got your parking right there, and kind of generic inner, nothing special about it. I liked 5 better, but again, we're in inner land. My viewpoint is there's 12 campgrounds here at Metolius River National Recreation Area, and there's some world-class, like, dream destination campsites that pinch me. I'm dreaming. I can't believe I got that campsite quality. So why would you want to be at an inner in one of, like, the lower half tier of the campsites? If you're going to bother coming all the way out to Metolius River National Recreation Area, which I highly recommend you do, it's actually my favorite river in Oregon and well worth it. I think it's a Wonderland Zone. You want to hike and camp and be on the shoreline. So I would pick a campsite on the shoreline if possible. And frankly, with a little bit of fastidious planning, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to. This area should be a lot more popular than it is, frankly. If you just try a little bit, it's not that hard to get a top tier campsite in Metolius, at least at its current popularity level. And continue this way. I mean, for instance, I think perhaps my favorite campsite of all 12 is site 6 at Candle Creek. And I was able to easily snag that on a weekend. So, you know, this is not one of these places where it's hard to get a good site if you just pay attention and just plan ahead. Here's campsite 7 and 8 in this roundabout. Come over to 7, nice little swath of Deschutes National Forest. Here's your nice long parking. kind of landlocked. It's amazing how carved out these are, little swaths of forest. There's your picnic table and fire pit. Probably put my tent right here, just because I think this is probably the only place you can put your tent. Little claustrophobic. I will point out that there's a path right to 8 right there. So 8 is right next to you. If you weren't best friends with 8 when you started, by the end you will be. So 7 and 8 are kind of on top of each other in a way that, at least for me, is quasi a deal breaker. So here is site 8. 7 is right there. There's the picnic table for 7, and this is the driveway for 8. Here's 8. Fire pit, picnic table, as I said, 7 and 8 are kind of right on top of each other. So that's a deal breaker for me. There's your little parking. There's the main campground road over there. So 7 and 8 are really close to each other, in my humble opinion, a little too close. You do have trail access right over here to Metolius River. Here is East Metolius River Trail. Here is the access point to site 8. So if people are walking right by your site, that's also your access to the trail, but that's kind of a privacy ding. So between people walking right by you there and then the proximity of 7 right there, for me, that's kind of a couple deal breakers. So here is 9. Remember over there was 7 and 8, little roundabout. Here you can see your driveway and picnic table other side of that. Kind of interesting. And here's your fire pit and picnic table. Kind of neat. I like how it's carved out in this brush. That's pretty interesting. Gives it an interesting perspective. Probably put your tent right here. I don't know where else you'd put it. You come back around and give you the perspective. There's your picnic table, fire pit. If you're wondering why I'm angling it down, it's because there's a bunch of cabins on the other side, and I don't really like to get actual physical property and stuff. So one of my maybe complaints about Smiling River is it's right across from like a private residence area. So that's a big strike against it. A lot of the other campgrounds here don't have that issue. So picnic table, fire pit. You do have shoreline access right here. So you can access, so I walk through some spider webs. And lo and behold, here's our East Metolius River Trail. And we pan over this way. There's an access point for fly fishing and kind of a really interesting tree. Let me look up this. Beautiful sun peeking through these Ponderosa pines. This is our access point to Smiling River campsite number 9. So I love how it's carved in here like it's its own little Wonderland Zone, but it's kind of a claustrophobic site. You got people hiking right by you on East Metolius River Trail, and it's right across from like some cabins. So I don't know. Not my favorite. I like 9 probably the best so far out of the first 9, but I'm only 9 of 36 in. Let me stop here and just look up at this Ponderosa pine heaven. I mean, look at this. I'm only 9 of 36 in, and so far I'm just thinking that Smiling River Campground is not my favorite out of the 12. There's several other ones I'd rather be at Candle Creek or Allen Springs or Pioneer Ford, that edge of Metolius River. Here's your spigot. Here is site 10. This is the driveway for 10. Okay, so this is campsite 10. I'm literally standing on East Metolius River Trail. So this is how poor the privacy lines are. You literally have people walking, 12, 15 feet away from you. You'd have to put your tent over there somewhere, maybe to the left of the picnic table. So you got people walking right by. And then you do have this side trail to your neighbor, which is right there. You can see the picnic table. That little hut thing is the restroom. So given the proximity of East Metolius River Trail, right next to site 10, and there's your fire pit, and very poor options for your tent, maybe right here, I would not do 10. I'll say this is very eclectically designed. Like, I appreciate the creativity they put into like putting it around corners and, you know, trying to have brush breaks between the sections, but between the cabins across the way and the East Metolius River Trail, like literally going right by your picnic table, like 10, 12 feet away, it's a couple privacy deal breakers for me. So I don't want to be repetitive, but there are 12 campgrounds to pick from here. No reason to settle on a campsite. Here is campsite 11. That's the main campground road. Here is your driveway. Okay, so 11 has the same problem 10 did. First of all, you can see 10 there on the left, but I'm literally standing on East Metolius River Trail, and look how close it is. Literally right now I'm walking on East Metolius River Trail. Well, hello there, 11, how are you doing? So your picnic table is like 10 feet away, 15 feet away from the trail. There's your fire pit, there's your parking. So the bathroom's over there. Again, here's the trail. So for me, that's a deal breaker. I don't want to camp and then have hikers walking through my site every, half an hour, however many people are hiking that day. That's just weird. Here is site 12. You can see here's the campground road. Here's your restroom. So right across from the restroom, here's your driveway. So I'm again standing on East Metolius River Trail. I don't mean to be repetitive. 10, 11, and 12 are all the same bag. There might be more to my right as I go on to 13, etc. But literally standing on East Metolius River Trail, I am 10, 15, 20 feet away from your site. You got the restroom on the other side, which will draw a lot of foot traffic. So you got people on one side going to the restroom. You're right up against East Metolius River Trail. Let me pan over here. You can actually see from where I'm standing the picnic table right over there. People hiking by. I gotta say, I'm not digging, as I keep hiking, I am not digging Smiling River. I think between it just is the worst alignment of your campsites with East Metolius River hiking through it, and then with the cabins across the way. Like, I think Smiling River might be my least favorite campground of the 12. Here is site 13, nice big turnabout. You got the restroom right there. There's the campground road. So again, just like 10, 11, 12, I'm standing on East Metolius River Trail, and you got a picnic table, fire pit right here. Way too close to the trail for my comfort. You got the cabins across the way. Very claustrophobic campground, Smiling River is. It's the biggest campground, I do believe, in this whole section with 36 sites, but I'm not really digging it so far. I haven't found a site that I would actually stay at personally. So I'm just thinking that Smiling River Campground isn't my jam. I know it's perfect for other people, so to each his or her own. So here is East Metolius River Trail. Here is site 14, picnic table, fire pit. You got your restrooms over there. You've got more of the trail that way. So very open. If you don't care about privacy and you're fine with people moseying on by down this trail all day, then 14 is great. But for me, a deal breaker. Here's your fire pit, picnic table. Also have cabins on the other side of me. So that's why I'm doing all the, in case you're wondering why I'm doing this different than I normally do, it's because I'm not going to capture the cabins. So I have to do everything reverse to even do this review. So not a fan. I'd like to give out an award to Campsite 15 as officially the closest one to East Metolius River Trail. I'm standing on the trail, and I am, by my guesstimate, about 10 feet away from the picnic table at the narrowest point. Let me see, here's our trail right here. So probably about 5 or 6 feet away from the fire pit, and I don't know, 8 or 10 feet away from the picnic table. There's our restroom up there. And oh, look over there, you got another friend, another picnic table. So 15 officially gets the award for if you want to sit in your picnic table and give hikers a high five. Not my jam. I value privacy. So this whole bay, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, in theory, if you're looking at a map or a shoreline and you think, oh, those must be awesome. But from my experience, first of all, 14 is right there, so look how close that is. But from my experience, these are claustrophobic. This is way too close to the trail to really be comfortable, in my humble opinion. But especially when you got 12 campgrounds here, you don't have to settle on this. There's several campgrounds that I would much rather be at that actually have the privacy. So that's site 15. Don't mean to be so negative, but I'm keeping it real. I actually have to do these reverse coming back this way because there's a bunch of private cabins on the other side of the river that I don't want to capture out of respect for private property rights. So it's actually kind of hard to even do Smiling River Campground because it's very difficult as far as getting the correct angles. Let's move on to the next one. There's our river down there, and here is site 16. Walking from the East Metolius River Trail, picnic table, fire pit, another picnic table over there. You got your friends down there, so not the best privacy lot lines. Restroom over there. So not great, keeping it real. Probably the best one so far, just because you do have the view of the river right there. And that was 16. Let's continue along. Here's 17 straight ahead. Let's go check that one out. At least I'm getting away from the cabins on the other side of the river. That might make this easier to actually go through and do these. So here is 17. That's 18 across the way. Here's our turnabout. And then here's our picnic table, our fire pit. Okay, so here's East Metolius River Trail, absolutely spectacular hiking trail. And let me pan over here. Oh yes, here is campsite 17, right along the hiking trail. Not great for privacy lines. Picnic table, fire pit, Ponderosa Pine Heaven. It does have its own turnabout as far as driveway, so that's nice. So if you don't mind people hiking by you, then it's a great site. 17 might be my favorite so far, but I think 17, 16 are the best so far, but it's not as good as some of the ones at the other campgrounds. Going straight, there's 18, it's an inner, got your driveway, picnic table. Poor lot lines, you see 2 picnic tables over there with unobstructed line of sight, kind of a deal breaker. You also have kind of this trail going straight ahead. I'm not sure what's up with that, where that's supposed to lead you, but so we come around here, picnic table, fire pit, you got the bathroom straight ahead. So 18 is no bueno. Again, you got picnic table over there. You got that. Not sure where that's supposed to take you, but that's just kind of between the campsites, but that's not to the river or anything. Okay, so here is site 19. You got a nice turnabout here. This is your parking. Here's your picnic table. So I'm standing on East Metolius River Trail. Hello, 19. Probably about 10 feet from your fire pit and maybe 15, 18, 20 feet from your picnic table. Deal breaker for me, claustrophobic with people walking by high-fiving you. No bueno. So here's 20. You can see your picnic table on the right, another one down there. Here's the main campground road. There's the water. Here's our East Metolius River Trail. You can see another picnic table over there. Here's our campsite we're looking at right now, 20. I'm trying to think of different things to say other than look how close it is to the trail, because that's probably annoying. Here's your fire pit, picnic table. There's our wastewater on the other side of 20. Restroom. Here's the parking for 21. So here's the roundabout for 21, the restrooms. Here's your picnic table and fire pit. That's 21. At least this one's got a little bit of separation with the brush to East Metolius River Trail, but also it's not right on the river, so the trade-off keeps haunting us. If we're right up against East Metolius River Trail, it means we're right up against the river. But if we're not in both ways. So again, different strokes, different folks. Here is turnabout for 22. Nice big turnabout, probably good for an RV. You can see 23 and 24 presumably down there. Got a picnic table, fire pit. So here's a perspective from the trail, picnic table, fire pit. And here is your friend right over here. A couple friends actually. Over there is the trail. So again, not great river access, and you are right along the trail. It's just starting to rain on me a little bit. You do have the restroom right there. Continue along. So here's our East Metolius River Trail on my left. Here is 23. You can see over there is 22. We were just looking at 23. See the picnic table over there. Here's another one. Poor lot lines. Close proximity, not good river access. No bueno. Does have a nice turnabout. Let's continue along. It's a restroom straight ahead. Got a nice parking right here, your own turnabout. Got the restroom over there. So, do have East Metolius River Trail behind me. I do have to say I love this massive Ponderosa. Look at that. It's just starting to sprinkle a little bit. So here is behind 25. There's a bridge, little section of Metolius River. Here's East Metolius River Trail. And here is 25. You got your neighbor over there, straight ahead. Here's 25. Kiosk over there, restroom, picnic table, fire pit. 24 over there. Does have a nice big parking right here. So 25 is serviceable, but again, I'm not feeling Smiling River, so don't mean to be so bah humbug, but I'm such a fan of this area, and there's 12 campgrounds, and there's so many other campgrounds that are just so much better than this one. It's kind of hard to get too excited about anything I'm seeing. I haven't found one that I would personally stay at, but I mean, this is beautiful Deschutes National Forest, and there's a lot of good things about it. Here's 26. I guess that's not a bathroom. I guess it's just a kiosk station. Nice long driveway. It's got a bench and a picnic table, a little eclectic. I'm guessing that bench got moved there, or is that permanent? I don't know. It's kind of weird to have a bench in front of your fireplace, but it's cool. It's kind of the end of the campground row. It turns back. So that was 26. Here's 27. We are now facing the main road to park to turn into Smiling River Campground. So here's an inner, not up against the river, beautiful swath of forest. Put your tent to the left of the picnic table fire pit. Turn this way. The worm has turned. We're definitely on our way back. We've done the shoreline, it looks like, and these are all just going to be inners, but we will finish it out to be thorough. I think you know what I'm going to say when I come to my final review comments. Here's 28. Inner, big, beautiful section of forest. Picnic table fire pit. You can put your tent in multiple spots back there. Up against the road on the other side, so a lot of road noise. Your own parking. That's interesting. Here's 29. You got your driveway, picnic table fire pit straight ahead. It's an inner. Don't really see anything special about it. Here's 30. Up against the main road for this campground row. It's an inner. Got driveway, picnic table fire pit. Some beautiful ponderosas. You will have a lot of road noise. You got your friend over there, but pretty decent lot lines. But I don't know, generic forest camping. Not up against the river, nothing special about it. Much better campsites here. 31, nice big driveway. It's an inner, so you're not really up against anything, just kind of camping in a basic section of Deschutes National Forest. It's beautiful Ponderosa pine, so this is a very high quality forest, don't get me wrong, but not really anything noteworthy about this site. This is a serviceable site, it's a base camp. Come across to 32, picnic table fire pit, nice long driveway. Again, up against the road is straight ahead. But we will walk this way. We're parking our vehicle right as I walk, and here's a picnic table and fire pit. So, beautiful section of forest. As I said, you'll see cars going right there all day, especially like if you're doing this July, August, you'll see a lot of cars. It'll be nonstop cars. So not really getting the forest feel. You're on an inner, you're not really up against the river. Here's site 33, got your picnic table fire pit, it's an inner. Nice long driveway, you can put your tent probably straight ahead. Give you this swath of trees, so this is epic. I mean, I love Deschutes National Forest. It's my favorite forest, so this is tough because I love the area, but if I'm differentiating across the 12 campgrounds, this is most certainly not my favorite. In fact, maybe my least favorite of the 12. So I know I haven't been shy about kind of dissing on this campground. I'm not trying to be so negative. I just not impressed by the way they carved this out. Here's 34. It's an inner. You can see a kiosk over there, presumably a bathroom. Nice long driveway. You got your fire pit on this side, and then the picnic table. Probably put your tent straight ahead to the left of the picnic table. Inner loop. Got your friend 34 right there. Hey neighbor. Not good lot lines. I'd say serviceable base camp. Nothing special about it. I wouldn't stay here. Poor lot lines with 34. Inner, no river access. So here's 36. Got a driveway, picnic table, fire pit. Last of the 36 sites. Right when you turn into Smiling River Campground, no good privacy lines. The main road is straight ahead. Again, picnic table, fire pit. I guess you would put your tent straight ahead. The only real flat place to put it is over here. It's a little awkward because now you're getting closer to your friends over there. Okay, so final review. I don't think I've made my feelings secret. I absolutely love Metolius River National Recreation Area. I absolutely love Deschutes National Forest. I absolutely love National Wild and Scenic Metolius River. There's 12 campgrounds in this zone. Several campgrounds are some of my favorite in Oregon. So I'm judging these harshly. It's my first time ever walking Smiling River Campground. Candidly, I was underwhelmed, disappointed. I don't like that there's a bunch of private property cabins on the other side. And then I also don't like the way they carved it. The premium zone, in air quotes, I'll say, right up against the river, have East Metolius River about 5, 8, 10, 15 feet away from your site. That's a deal breaker to me because you could like sit there and high five people as they walk by. It's ridiculous. So I think Smiling River Campground, I think it's the biggest one out of the 12. It's 36 sites. I think it's a miss. I probably didn't see a single site here that I would even add to my master list that I would personally camp at. It's definitely a different style camping. I know perfect's going to meet the good, and compared to a lot of other campgrounds, a lot of other states, it's probably still pretty amazing, keeping it real, but compared to the other campgrounds here in this 12 campground zone. I really am not a fan of Smiling River Campground. It's probably my least favorite of the 12 in this whole area. So personally, I would steer clear of Smiling River Campground. My personal recommendation, I'm sure there's some people who love it who will not like that recommendation, but it is what it is. I'm always going to keep it real and say what I think, especially since I just did Candle Creek and Pioneer Ford earlier today. I fell in love with both of those. So I was very positive on those. And then I come here and it's like kind of perfect contrast, doing it bang, bang, bang at a direct, within an hour or two seeing them. You get to see a really good differentiation fresh in your noggin. And not a fan of Smiling River Campground.